Hello, I'm Pip and I'm the lady behind Technology Triumphs. I just wanted to throw together a quick video that might help some of you that are making initial inquiries into whether or not the Level 2 Certificate in Creative Craft Cookery course is right for your child. If you're not already aware, there are some more detailed documents on the file section in the Facebook group. But as a quick go-to for people that are just making initial inquiries, I've thrown together this video and I hope it helps. Just some quick background information on me. My degree was in silversmithing and goldsmithing, so I'm a creative person by nature. I have worked, before I was a teacher, I've worked as a manager in the NHS, and I've worked for a small period of time in the Kent Police Control Room, which was quite eye-opening. I decided to go back to university and then train as a teacher, which I did for over 10 years, and I loved it, but unfortunately with the changes and funding and various other reasons, it just became increasingly frustrating for me to be able to deliver my subject effectively and safely. So I decided to come away whilst I was on maternity leave with my baby, who's currently napping upstairs. I decided to look into what other ventures I could explore that didn't take me away from teaching completely, because I'm still passionate about that and helping young people fulfill their potential. So the initial idea was to just do workshop-based learning, and then I realised quickly when I started liaising with home editors that there was a major gap and a lack of opportunity for home ed children to be able to access qualifications in the creative and practical subjects. So basically that's how technology has developed into an online provision towards NCFE qualifications. For those of you that weren't aware, NCFE is the exam board that I'm using and who I'm approved under. They're one of the if not the longest serving exam board, and I've used them in schools before. I was familiar with them and I like the way they do things, the way that they make provisions for creative subjects. It works well, and I think other GCSE exam boards have made a lot of the creative subjects more academic, and they're making it harder for certain groups of children to be able to access those qualifications. So that's one of the reasons I've chosen NCFE. The first query that seems to crop up, is this a distance learning course? Nice, easy answer for that one. Yes, absolutely. So although I started doing face-to-face tuition with small groups of children, I realised I wanted to be able to help more people, and a request from a parent about whether or not I could run it as distance learning suddenly grew overnight to it being offered out nationally. So yes, it is entirely distance learning. You don't have to meet with me at all. I can assess the work through photographs and video logs, and we use Dropbox, which is basically a shared, like a cloud. So you upload your files at the end of each term, and I assess through going through those files and leave trackers in the same folder for you to be able to access. So entirely distance learning, no need to travel, can be done from the comfort of your home or a friend's home. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Number two on the frequently asked questions is, can the recipes be adapted? Again, yes, absolutely. We've got a lot of people enrolled now who might have specific dietary needs, i.e. veganism, vegetarianism, allergies, intolerances. So it's going to be it would be very difficult for me to cater for everybody in terms of the recipes that I supply. So what I do say is, you have a recipe given to you, a suggested recipe. If you need to adapt around that, absolutely, that's by all means, please do. You may still need to, if you're a non-meat eater, for example, you may still need to be able to theoretically discuss how you might prepare meat or how you would store meat, because the course is designed really to prepare someone with the basics of how to train as a chef. So that will be in the course content, but it doesn't require you to have to cook it or eat it yourself. And actually, adapting the recipes is a big tick. It's actually one of the criteria I need to see throughout the course. So it's kind of actively encouraged for you to develop the recipe. Number three, is the course price all inclusive? Again, yes, there are no hidden costs. I've factored in the cost of registration and certification when I worked out how to price the course. So the £550 fee covers everything. That includes the termly workbooks you get, the guidance sheets, the recipes, my termly feedback, registration and certification with the exam board. No nasty surprises at the end of the course. Number four, is there any flexibility with submission dates? Again, yes, I'm well aware that life happens, and It might be that you're getting the kitchen renovated, or there's illness in the family, or holidays booked. So I'm happy to be flexible with the submission dates. It may just be you need to just pop me an email to let me know that work's coming in late. I'm not going to harass or chase for that work. The beauty of this course is there is no endpoint exam, so we're not working towards one date. So if people do need more time to be able to complete the course, absolutely, that I can facilitate. That's not a problem. In the same vein, if people want to finish earlier than the 2 years, providing they're dedicating the time in the weeks leading up to that, they can do. So obviously what I mean by that is you're not going to spend 20 hours completing the course. It's going to take a required amount of time, but how you manage that time is up to you. If you want to work solidly on it for 6 months and qualify sooner because you've got a plan, you need it as a stepping stone for the next course, for example, then yes, absolutely, I can facilitate that as well. Again, I just need you to let me know that that's what's happening, and I can factor that in when I'm planning my workload. And so number 5 is this a GCSE level course or a GCSE equivalent course, which are two very different questions really. It's not a GCSE, it is considered a GCSE level course. So it is set to the same level as a GCSE. It requires the same amount of hours and dedication to the course. Whether or not it would be accepted by a college as instead in place of a GCSE is totally dependent on the college and the course you're applying for. Certainly when I did my research and the colleges in my local area, when I phoned round and asked whether or not it would be considered a GCSE or in place of a food GCSE for someone wanting to go on to a level 3 in cookery or catering, yes, it would be considered in place of. What they were keen to point out was that probably in that scenario where the requirement was 5 GCSEs including food, the other 4 GCSEs would probably need to be GCSEs. I've used this, and like I say, in NCFE in other schools, and I've run this qualification in other schools. So the content I know is the same as a GCSE. It just isn't called one, and it doesn't have an endpoint exam. But what I would recommend to anyone who is reliant on this course because they're planning to go and apply for a particular college on a particular course, just have that conversation with them. Just make a phone call to the admissions office and just double check, verify that they're happy to accept that, because I would hate for anyone to be disappointed at the end of the course when they find it that hasn't helped them in the way they needed it to. So certainly as a teacher myself, I know that the content of the course is the same as a GCSE, but whether or not the college accepts it, it varies from region to region. It can even depend on what course you're applying for. So the same college might accept it in place of a GCSE for one course but not another. So if you are relying on it to be able to gain access to a particular course, just make that phone call and just double check that that's okay. So those are my top 5 queries that have cropped up since this went online last September. Obviously there may be other questions you haven't had answered. Please do have a look in the files section if after this video you're still interested in enrolling. There's a good chance that I've answered your questions elsewhere on the files section. If you're still stuck, please by all means contact me. I'm easily contactable by Facebook or by email. They're generally the best ways because of the baby and the 7-year-old as well. So it's something I can pick up when I've not cooking dinner or dealing with a nappy or anything else that comes with being a mum. So yeah, hopefully that's given you a little bit more information and insight into how the course will run, and perhaps giving you an answer as to whether or not it's going to work for you and your family. But like I say, any other questions, please do get in touch. Thank you.